just stand there and look silly. Sit down.
Okay, now we'll get your accounting and shit.
You feel we're not doing this correctly, and I want to understand your viewpoint. Really do. Yeah, let's talk honestly to each other.
Okay.
Okay? Is that fair? Can I open in prayer first? Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we give you thanks for this evening. We give you thanks for wonderful music. We give you thanks for this opportunity to talk. I pray that you open our hearts, open our minds, and fill us this day, Lord. And we thank you for all of this in your Son's name. Amen.
I had started doing taking the music course at the university.
Hard to say where I need to begin, but you have put me through hell in the last 2 years. And pretty much everything that you've done has been inappropriate, and I say you in the collective you, not you necessarily personally.
Expand on that, please.
Let's start with this. Who is your attorney representing?
I will tell you, the attorney represents the insurance company.
No, he does not.
Okay.
Legally, by New York State law, he is not allowed. He is not allowed.
Okay. That's, there's law, and then there's the way things work. What we've told our attorney, and I'll tell you quite frankly, because I've spoken to him once a week for the past 2 years, is we want to settle this issue because you were hurt. It was a terrible thing. I can't even begin to describe it. We don't want to. We are a different church. What happened, and there's no way to change it. All we want to do is to give you what we can. And that's from the first meeting with the lawyer. That's what we said.
What is it that you think that I want from you?
I have no idea. I'll be quite honest with you.
Why don't you know?
Why don't I know? Because I don't. Quite frankly, I don't know. And I guess we've never talked about it.
Why not?
And here's the difficulty is the first thing the lawyers will tell you is don't say anything because it will be used against you in a court of law.
So what are you afraid of?
What's everybody afraid of?
I don't know.
Everybody's afraid of the same thing. That this is going to get out of hand and we have the possibility of losing more than we have.
So you didn't talk to me because you're afraid of losing your building?
No. We didn't talk to you because that is what our legal counsel said.
And lawyers trump Jesus.
Lawyers do not trump Jesus. No.
So then why didn't you talk to me?
Okay. Because as representatives of the church, there's two pieces of it. There is the legal piece, and then there's the what should we do from a Christian perspective? And I will be quite frank with you. From a Christian perspective, what do? We pray. We seek God's answers, and some of it is unclear. What are you looking for? And I'll ask you that question straight up.
I'm not going to answer that question right now. We need to go into this issue a little bit further because you don't know what I want because you have not spoken to me.
I'm speaking to you now.
It's been 2.5 years.
Oh, okay. It's not like
My question to you is...
And I came here today.
Yeah.
Too many bugs.
Also, I think that you should know what... You have access to all my private messaging, right?
I do not look at your private messaging, no.
But you have it, right? Yes, you do have it. You added Weaver to my lawsuit, which gave him access to all of my private messaging, all of my medical records, all of my therapy records. Every private thing about me you gave to my abuser. How do you think that made me feel?
Here's the problem with this. It's lawyers got involved.
Okay, you could fire your attorney whenever you wanted to. If your attorney's doing something that you think is against your belief system, not the right thing to do, you have the power to fire your attorney. You can hire any counsel that you want to do this however you want. Your insurance company pays for this attorney, and that's a perk of your insurance policy. I don't know if you can convince them to pay for a different one that they don't hand select, but you have the power to fire your attorney if they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
I will say that may have been a misstep. I don't know. And I don't know if any lawyer would have done it differently. The minute this went to court,
okay,
it starts to get out of our
control.
control.
Let's back
Sure.
up to before court.
Okay.
Dale Blue, did I contact you before anything went to court?
You sent me text messages.
And what did you tell me?
I told you that I'm not afraid to talk to you, but it has to be done in the right way. That's what I told you.
Through the proper channels.
Correct.
Are those
you're
attorneys?
translating it, but that's not the words I used, but yes.
So what were those? Did you suggest what those avenues might be? Did you come to me and ask me, say, hey, I'd like to talk to you through the proper, the proper way, and this is what I propose, let's talk? Did you make an effort to respond in a way that you could ask me and find out what it is that I needed from you?
That is your
I'm asking
version.
you a question.
That is your version of the way things go, and I only see my version. I do not see yours.
What is your version?
That's not an issue here.
It is, because
No, it is not.
Why is it not an issue? The reason that you didn't speak to me and you don't know what I want is at issue here. So, I'm trying to find out why you didn't talk to me. If the reason that you guys don't know what I want is because you didn't talk to me...
If you'd like to bring legal counsel, we'll continue this discussion, and there is no reason... I have nothing to hide.
Did I say that you did?
You are implying.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you why you have not spoken to me. You're telling me that you don't know what I want because you didn't talk to me. And you're not reading my private messaging, which is full of what I want.
No, I don't read it. None of my business.
Okay. And Murray doesn't have time to read it. So you don't know what I want, and you're not motivated to find out what I want. But bringing legal counsel, the moment that this went to court, everything went south. But I attempted to speak to you before it went to court, and I attempted to speak to Murray before it went to court, and he just told me, well, I can't talk to you.
It would be inappropriate.
Why would it be inappropriate? And what are you afraid of losing?
I'm afraid of nothing.
Well, then why won't you talk to me? If there's nothing to be afraid of, why not talk to me? Seriously.
Seriously, I have nothing more to say.
Why?
I just explained it to you.
Because I have legal counsel. Because I filed a lawsuit.
I explained it to you. I'm done.
Are you acting like Jesus?
Perhaps I am. Are you?
Yes, I am. I'm trying to tell you what it is that you did that hurt me.
What did
But I think this
personally
is...
do?
You refused to speak to me when I needed you? But I don't matter. I don't matter here. I have never mattered.
That is not true.
I matter less than your money. Because all you have to lose here is money. What do you have to
Why
lose?
would I not talk to you is because I was aware of the way you were treating other people, and why did I sign up for it?
How was I treating other people? Please tell me. Who?
I had nothing to say.
Before I filed a lawsuit, you were aware of how I was treating other people.
Mhm. So, I'm done.
I didn't treat anybody badly, so I'd like to know what you're talking about. Because if we're talking about a rumor, then maybe I can dispel it, since we're Christians and we're supposed to talk things out.
You made a statement that she was treating other people wrong, so you really should tell her exactly what she was doing. Maybe not the person or the people, but what exactly was she doing? You'd be
If you want to
informing
have
me
this
too.
discussion, let's bring on the legal counsel then.
I'm only
the
here.
counsel here.
I'm only here as making sure that it's like a neutral person, because
And I'd like to ask you, because it's curious to me.
Very sure.
I'm calling my legal counsel. You want her on the phone? I'm going to see if I can get her on the phone.
It's curious to me. I'll give you
to serve me.
case in point. You mentioned me in a YouTube scenario.
Yes, I told the truth.
And why do you think that was the truth?
Because I know for a fact that it was the truth, because two people in the room told me exactly what happened.
What did they say?
That you said that someone is suing you for millions of dollars, and you were crying, and the church prayed for this lawsuit not to cost you more than you have, or whatever, I don't know.
I stated a letter that we got. Because this is a letter from your lawyer.
Yes.
Because that is what I have to do. And I said all I wanted was a peaceful resolution. Okay? Did I get emotional? Did I get emotional? Yes. But we could see that I think that was misconstrued, but you don't. Because you see it from your viewpoint, which is the only viewpoint you can see it from, and I see it from my viewpoint, which is the only viewpoint I
Are
can
settlement
see it.
negotiations confidential?
As the leadership of the church, we have to keep the church informed of what's going on.
That there was a settlement letter, but settlement negotiations are confidential.
The settlement letter was what I read.
It is confidential.
The settlement letter, I do not believe is confidential.
It is. It's part of settlement negotiations, and it's a demand letter that your attorney required. He petitioned the court and made us give it to you.
Correct. And you think it's wrong for me to share that with the church?
It is. It's a matter of law. My attorney talked to your attorney about it. Because it shouldn't have happened. And then Murray disclosed details, like dollar details. Her attorneys are going to get this much and she's going to get this much in a private meeting with some people a couple of weeks ago. Settlement negotiations are confidential, but the church continues to violate that confidentiality. And I don't know where this rumor that I'm accusing Murray of being a child molester is coming from, but it is not true. I absolutely have never, and in fact, in the last video of all of his stupid jokes that I put up, there are multiple times where I put on the screen, not Weaver, new pastor, so that there wouldn't be any confusion. I am not responsible for Murray being accused of being a child molester. It had absolutely nothing to do with that.
And this is one of the problems with social media, is people, for want of a better term, misconstrue things and put out additional statements, and then it gets out of hand. Which
But
is
if
why
you would just speak to me, that wouldn't even be necessary. But see, I don't have a pulpit to use to tell people things that aren't true, but even things that are true, and you do, and you use it. And nobody wants to listen to me. Everybody wants to believe that the people who are in charge at church are going to do the right thing. But they aren't doing the right thing.
What is the right thing for you? And I've asked you that.
Yeah,
I want this to be peacefully settled for all of us.
Well, for starters, I didn't want your money.
Okay.
This probably would have been a whole lot cheaper if you had just done the Christ-like thing from the beginning and talked to me.
And much like social media, I think lawyers have complicated this issue to death. On both sides.
It sounds simple. I guess she keeps on saying that there was never really a heart-to-heart conversation about the situation. About her being...
eating you.
So I guess that's what I keep hearing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no conversation. Everybody went off to their corners. She's looking for somebody to say, "Hi, Sheila.
You matter."
Facts are, this happened, you matter, and whatever goes from there. So I guess everything, I can't speak anymore because I really don't know.
And one thing I will tell you, you matter very much.
Well, I'll tell you that it doesn't seem like it.
And
I'd really like to know how I was treating other people. In general terms, if you don't want to tell me names.
Yes, it was.
It's fair, you made the statement. It's like you
I'm not speaking so you can misconstrue things. I'm just not doing it.
So I can misconstrue things. Because I'm the problem here. I'm always the problem,
You are
Dale.
making it like, listen, you here was the one who wronged you years ago.
You were one of them.
No,
Oh, you're over there.
No, I'm not. You were among them. Are you one of the people who abused me? No. Have I ever accused you of that? No.
So I don't know which way to, with the opening statement, I do not know.
So how was I treating other people? I literally had done nothing. I had not had hardly any communication with this place for 15 years.
You're correct about that as far as I know.
Huh?
You're correct about that as far as I know.
So then who was I mistreating if I wasn't having any contact? Or at least, what was I doing? Was I misconstruing something? Was I mistreated by the church?
I don't know the answer.
You don't know the answer to it.
You were mistreated by California, yes.
Was I mistreated by anyone?
I don't know about the rest. It's a long and complicated story, and I know as much of it, Sheila. I can't see the whole thing.
You don't want to know any more of it?
That's not true.
I'm asking. So you do want to know more of it?
Sure, I want to know more of it. I don't. I care. I would prefer. I would like to see you come to it.
And how might I find healing? Did I promise someone here that I wasn't going to sue the church?
You spoke no such thing to me.
Because that rumor is going around where he's telling people that I promised I wouldn't sue the church, and then 2 weeks later he got served with papers. But I didn't speak to anybody around here 2 weeks before my lawsuit was served on the church.
Alex, I think this is a very inappropriate conversation.
I want to know why lawyers trump Jesus. That's what I want to know. You had opportunity to speak to me for like 9 months, and nobody reached out. There were no attorneys. Nobody reached out. So what should I have done differently? If I wanted to be heard by you, what should I have done differently than I did?
I'll say this, but I think the lawsuit has really put people in a protective stage. And I don't think that Christians, biblically, Christians shouldn't sue Christians. Okay? That's a biblical stance. And
that's a broad statement, but go ahead.
Is it
1 Corinthians 6, I know what you're referring to, but I
Okay.
don't think it applies here, but continue.
Why not?
Huh?
I
think that passage of Scripture has been used over and over and over and over and over again to sweep this stuff under the rug and harm victims, and now it's exploding into this public embarrassment for the church, and everybody wants to go back to 1 Corinthians 6, because for the people in power, that works really, really well to hurt people and run them off and say that it's being done in Jesus' name because this is what God wants. And, I can see for trivial matters, things about being defrauded out of money and, stupid little things. I run into issues with my business all the time. And, we have a woman who refused to pay her bill. She owes me $4,600. I'm not going to take it to court. I don't do that. I'm not a litigious person. Okay? But this issue, it isn't just about me. This issue is a huge issue in the church. It's not just the Catholic Church. The Protestants have been pointing fingers at the Catholic Church for ages, and ages and ages and ages, while they sweep their own shit under the rug. And
I would agree with you totally that it has been a problem for a long time.
And it's not being dealt with, and nothing started happening in the Catholic Church until the carnal courts got involved, and I think that's really an embarrassment. Nothing started happening with the Southern Baptists until the courts got involved. So I think that Scripture says, what an embarrassment it is that there's no one in the church who will handle these matters, and I think that part of the verse is the part that you should be focusing on. But continue. So this lawsuit has put people in a protective mode.
It has.
So, but I'm asking you, before the lawsuit, what should I have done differently? Because I did reach out. I tried to talk to people here, and I was not successful. So what should I have done differently? Dale's telling me that I was already doing horrible things to someone that I'm not aware of. So he was never going to talk to me. So I guess from his perspective, there's nothing I could have done at all, because he won't talk to me because I'm just going to misconstrue everything, I guess, and make him... I don't know what he's afraid to lose because he's not telling me. So what could I have done differently?
Those conversations were... And anything I say can be looked at many ways, but I'll tell you that it was a huge disadvantage to Pastor Rick because he didn't know what had happened. And unfortunately, the story was never properly vetted. Okay? So
what does that mean?
Everything was people's opinions. Everything was... there were a lot of viewpoints, but I think there were a lot of facts, and still think there were a lot of facts missing. I agree with you. I wish we had done it differently. We didn't. I can't go back and change the past. Okay? Should it have been handled differently? Probably. But it wasn't. And my question to you is, where do we go from here? How can we, and I'm going to use this, correct the issues we have to make things better?
Well, let me say that I went into this with very high hopes because Murray was not involved and had no skin in the game. I thought that he was the perfect person to redeem the past. And instead of being committed to uncovering what the truth is, he decided to duck and cover like everybody else. And that's wildly disappointing.
You make that generalization, and I'm not trying to duck and cover. I sincerely wanted to talk to you.
What's prevented you from reaching out to me?
Okay? And I'll tell you the truth. The problem is anything I say can be misconstrued, can be misread, just as anything you say can be misconstrued. So, yeah, I didn't know how to do that. That's a limitation on my part. I'm not making any excuses about it. I didn't know how to start that conversation. It's as honest as I can get. I didn't know how to start that conversation.
At what point in time did you come to the conclusion, or maybe not an actual conclusion, but maybe start to wonder if maybe the way the church handled what happened incorrectly in the past?
At what point in time?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say that there was a nirvana moment. I don't know.
Was it before 2019?
I'll tell you that a lot of, unfortunately, not an excuse, we get busy with our lives and sometimes we miss stuff. And thought about it the most when we had the most time to think about it, and that was during COVID. I haven't been on the board in a couple of years. So, did I turn that over to the leadership? Sure, because I wasn't on the board. I've just come back on the board this year. Okay?
So up until, say, 2020, how did you view the situation? If you ever thought about it.
My hope that it would be resolved amicably, because I didn't know.
Okay, so wait.
What was
before CVA passed? How did you view my situation?
How did I view it? I viewed it as a great tragedy befell you at the hands of Weaver, and it led to many church splits, because we've had 2 splits, and all I ever prayed for was that this situation would, I hate to say it, but it would be resolved as only God could resolve it, because I couldn't figure out how to. I'm being honest with you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that you're willing to speak to me. Because mostly I'm just perceived as a threat, and that gets really old really fast. I went and spoke to Weaver's pastor on my way here. How do you think that went?
I have no idea.
About as well as this is going.
That was Weaver's pastor?
Yeah.
So why would Weaver's pastor be...
I do know for a fact, actually, that he is concerned that his ministries are at risk, because I am a threat everywhere that I go.
Is Pastor Weaver still doing ministry with the church?
No, he is not. He only attends on Sunday mornings, but he refuses to repent, and apparently Matthew 18 doesn't apply to him, because he's still allowed to come to church. They haven't put him out even though he refuses to repent, but his pastor won't tell me what he believes, or if he believes me. That seems like a two-faced kind of a conundrum. But he was volunteering with children for 15 years there, and what I wanted from his church was to know if his pastor is currently seeking out and caring for any potential victims, since Weaver was engaged with children. But he doesn't want to talk to me either. That's what I get everywhere I go. At least Mike Green was decent enough to speak to me when I reached out. Well, actually, he reached out to me. Oh, is that what you're talking about? When I left the review on RBC's website? That's the only thing I could think of that was negative.
I have no social media ID, so
I guess that wasn't it then. I bumped into Jim Mitchell in 2019 in the lobby of the Holiday Inn. I guess his water heater exploded and he was staying in the same hotel as I was. And I asked Jim Mitchell if he still thought the way the church handled my situation was appropriate, and he said, yes I do, and until you repent, your life will be miserable. And the irony of ironies is that day I was headed out of the hotel to go to Keneen Reed's house, where I spent a lot of time crying on her couch in 2005 when I was mistreated over and over and over again here. And I spent the day crying on her couch again. And then I posted on their website, their Facebook page, I left them a review, and I said, the pastor here believes that women who are abused should be forced to publicly apologize for that abuse and be church disciplined or something like that. I don't remember the exact wording that I used. And I said, you should update your What We Believe section on your website so that people at least know what they're getting into. And then, go ahead.
Would you like me to stick around?
I'll take him home.
Okay.
You're welcome. And so after that, RBC had a meeting with some of the leadership there. And I don't know who all was there. I know a lot of the Greens were there, and the Mitchells, and I think the Faddens were there. And then Katie Green called me afterward to talk to me, and we talked for a long time. And then she texted me and told me that her dad would like to talk to me. And she also told me that Jim Mitchell and Mike Green and Francine wanted to fly down to South Carolina to talk to me with my pastor. And so I thought about it for a while, and I gave Mike Green permission to call me. And we talked, and we had a good conversation. And he asked me a lot of questions that I felt were genuine. He really wanted to understand, and he made a couple of apologies. And that's when I told him that I was reporting Weaver to the police. And I'm trying to remember exactly what happened after that. I reported Weaver to the police in November of 2019. And I spoke to Mike Green that night because I gave his phone number to the police. And I asked him on that call if Dale would be willing to speak to me, since he was the other adult on that trip. And he said that he didn't know, but he gave me your phone number. And I texted you, and I told you who I was, and I said that I have some questions. And you had your read receipts on, so I saw that you read the message, and you did not reply to me. And a week went by, and nothing. And then I found out that you had a meeting with Jim Mitchell and Mike Green and Murray, and you asked, what does she want? So you wanted to know what I wanted, but you apparently weren't interested in asking me what I wanted. And so then I sent you a follow-up text that said that it was obvious that you were afraid to talk to me or whatever. I told you what I specifically wanted when I texted you. And encouraged you to at least pray about what side of this mess the Lord would have you stand on. And then you wrote back and told me that you would only speak to me in a proper manner or whatever, but you didn't really clarify what that is. And then I told you that I gave your number to the investigator and for the police investigation, and then there was no follow-up from you after that in any way to tell me.
The investigator never called me.
I know. They didn't need to talk to you after all for that. But you had my number, and I had attempted.
All I can tell you about all of that is, unless you're wrong, you, before the story, somebody started to tell you.
You mean about the meeting? Okay, but I'm telling you, like, what I did. This is the sum total of everything that I did, and I'm leading up to, I just got to you. So, I have done these things, and none of those things, at least from my perspective, are mistreating anyone. Posting the review might have been on the edge, and I deleted it after they had their meeting, and they apologized to me. Well, actually, Jim Mitchell has never apologized to me. But I appreciated the fact that they were willing to come to me and talk to me. And so, I'm not, if you're aware of something that I've done, it's probably not true. And if that's the basis for why you're refusing to speak to me, I would say that that's kind of unfounded.
If you think that I've done something that you haven't, I have no idea.
I don't think that you've done something that I'm not aware of. I just think that you're not talking to me. And you're sitting there telling me that you won't talk to me. Because there are lawyers involved. And I don't understand why lawyers trump Jesus. Like, what is it about me that is such a freaking threat that people run away from me? Grown men are running away from me. It's kind of silly, really. Why are you shaking your head? Like, I'm not. I didn't file a lawsuit back then, but you still were not willing to talk to me. Except through whatever the proper manner is, but I don't know what that is. Except if you're only willing to speak to a police investigator.
I would have absolutely spoken.
But why won't you talk to me? Why won't you talk to me? Because I'm a human being. Like a living, breathing, actual human being.
Yeah, she lied.
Who was harmed by this place. And you still lead this place. You've been here. You rotate.
There is nothing here from when that happened.
You're still here. You're still here. You're still here.
That would only make sense to say if we were somehow a part of what happened to you.
Do you know what the most damaging aspect of what happened to me was? Any idea? You want to venture a guess?
I don't have a lot of detail, but I would say letting Weaver leave this building was number one. I would believe that letting a group of men on the board, did they actually talk to you in a room where you were by yourself?
My mother was there.
Mother was there.
It was still inappropriate.
Because your life situation was different at home, and yeah, I think that was the biggest mistake. Being a new person in church, and it continues to haunt me by being shocked and not knowing what was going on, that I didn't stand up and say, hold it. I know we had a conversation after when things are going wild, and we failed. We failed you 100%. Anybody in that church failed you 100% by not holding the guy. Yes.
Nobody is a professional at handling these things.
But we can still fail. We failed. You failed by not shaking my hand over there, thinking I had some preordained thing. Smile all you want, Dale. And your whispering does not make you seem softer.
Anything.
But you didn't shake my hand, which really hurt, and you thought I was up to something. All I know, I was coming to the concert. Well, actually, I wasn't coming to the concert. Then I heard Sheila was coming, and she wanted to go to the concert. So then I felt I had to come here, because my wife and my mother-in-law were going to be here, and I just felt like, okay, I need a man presence here just in case. You came over and started talking. You have a outgoing personality, and I think you're almost hearing her, and I might be wrong, but she just wants to be seen as Sheilagh and not a piece of paper, and she goes back to the beginning and wanting to say, why didn't anybody talk to her before anything was being in legal services, whatever the process is.
And Phil's claiming that he has a reason, but he won't tell me what it is.
But we all failed. Whoever was in that church, we all failed. Yes, none of us are perfect. None of us been through that situation. But Sheilagh was through it. There was a board there, and we all failed it. Even the lowest person in that auditorium that was there that knows kind of what was happening failed by letting this happen, by letting it go, by letting him slip. And that's part of independent church problem. There's no accountability.
And I would agree with that statement, because I was here less than a year when that happened, and I
might have been in the same boat as you, I'm not sure.
And the hardest part was sitting there going, what is going on?
And we failed, right? Did we stand up and say, hold it?
I'm not going to disagree with that at all. Okay?
Well, I'd say the most damaging part of this, for me... Okay. I think this might require a little bit of backstory. But while I was being abused, I was being threatened that if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, or I told people what was going on, that Weaver was going to destroy the church and walk out on his feet. Okay? So, I was also told from the very beginning that the way I dressed was the reason for what was happening to me. This was my fault. And now I was on my shoulders to keep the church together. So then, all this crap happens, I come back to the church. I told Pete and Buccio, I think Mike Green was there that day, I read my letter. And as soon as I was done reading my letter, Buccio said, call the police. So, the police were called, and they didn't excuse themselves from the room, and they sat and they listened to my report to the police, which was very uncomfortable. And I didn't say everything that I should have said. I didn't know how to say it. Okay? And police left. And Pete Nargi walked up to me. He looked me in the eyes and he said, I saw where you parked your car all those nights trying to hide it. I could have looked at the cell phone bill to see who he was talking to all the time. And he stared at me. And then he walked away. And then I had to come back to the church and meet with the board. And you were there. It was Tuesday night. And I wasn't speaking at first because I forgot my letter. And I was terrified. Terrified! And Pete Nargi said, you better start talking, because I have better things to do. Do you remember that? And then Ken Schneider said, I disagree. I have all night. This is the hardest thing that I've ever done. And that was the only supportive statement that was made in that meeting. I said what I needed to say. I told the church about what happened. I told you about the threats that he made. I told you about what happened to Bob Jones when I was 16. And I know for a fact I said that because I remember in that meeting that you said...
I know why I had to be... Why he wanted me to sleep
that you said you had to stay in the dorms.
Yep. I remember
and then... Lucio confiscated my phone in that meeting. And he held it up like this. And he said... Now, I'm not going to find any text messages from Weaver in here, because when you were at Ray's house, I guess Ray went through my phone, because they confiscated my phone too, took away all of my agency, kidnapped me basically and held me hostage at the house. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I wasn't allowed to make my own choices. I was trapped. They took my car. Come here. I have a meeting with you. He steals the phone. Todd Petit had it in his hand. They flip it open, and they're going through all my messages and my contacts, calling out who it might be, like what contact might be Weaver. No text messages in my phone. And I remember Todd said, oh, maybe it's the rejection hotline, because I had that saved in my phone, because I thought it was funny. And then Buccio kept my phone for a long time. And then it was Jim Mitchell who said, well, how important is your church membership to you in that meeting? And I was required to take a pregnancy test so the board could see it. It's not appropriate. My cell phone was confiscated and kept for at least a month. My father had to come here and get it from Buccio because he refused to give it back to me. And then I was made to publicly apologize. I was publicly shamed. And I got up in this room right here, and I read my letter, crying the entire time, thinking that this was my fault. I came to the church, I came to you, thinking that you were going to explain to me what happened to me. And I was blamed for what happened to me. And that is what was the most damaging part of all of my abuse, was not my abuse. It's the way the church treated me afterward. And then I was spat at. And horrible things were said to me. Tony Caricci, when I was 17 years old, he came to a youth event at the Edgar's house. And he gave his testimonies talking about his prior life of drugs and alcohol and women and whatever. And then he starts talking about how amazing Weaver is and how perfect he is, right? He idolized Weaver. And I remember thinking at 17 that I really had broken something perfect. And if Caricci ever found out, that it would destroy him. Do you know what it did to me when he put a bullet in his head in 2012? I went to his house because he was so upset, because I felt like I was responsible for that, and he screamed at me and told me that I shouldn't be spreading my legs for the bishop. And then he started spreading rumors about the fact that I wasn't ever really pregnant, and it was just this grand scheme between me and Buccio to get Weaver thrown out. I came here one day after I actually left the church because my car was broken, and Mary Daggett walked up to me and asked me if I planned on coming here on a regular basis, and I told her no, and she said, good, because I had no right being here, because I just remind everyone of all the bad things that have happened. I was abused by this institution, not just by Weaver, and I think that the abuse that I suffered at the hands of this institution is way worse than what I suffered at Weaver at his hands. Worse. This isn't about, and this lawsuit has never been about what Weaver did to me. Unfortunately, the way CVA works, they're only allowed to put in there what happened when I was underage, and they just put in a couple of things that kind of explained how it ended. None of the things that were important to me about how the church treated me wound up in my lawsuit.
All that is like you told me many things that I could have done. And he said in some of the board meetings, I don't remember things that we talked about. I don't remember thinking that certain things would be. Chris was taking himself from me. I don't remember much about when we went around. I was supposed to be recording the things. And for some reason, I watched the needles go. And when I watched the tape, there was nothing on it. And I've never understood. Julie, the day that you got married, was an incredibly happy day because you've been through so much. This is my perspective. You've been through so much. That there was somebody who loved you and was going to take care of you. I don't know what's happened since then. You don't. You didn't deserve any of that.
I don't deserve
And I'm
it
very
right now
sorry.
either.
But I don't know what I can do, and I don't know what I
I
do.
wanted to be treated like a human being. That's what I wanted. I wanted somebody to be brave enough to say, we did the wrong thing. And I'm sorry. And I want to make it right. And I don't want your money. I want to be treated like a human being. I'm tired of being lied about. I'm not a liar. I've done everything that I could possibly do to be as clear and honest as I could possibly be this whole time. What I want is the truth. That's what I want. There were so many things I didn't know in 2019 that I found out in this process.
And I don't know. Probably more things that I don't know. I don't know.
But I understand why you can know what you do know and not want to just come alongside me and help me fix it and figure it out. Why do you want to stand behind an attorney? Forget your stupid money.
I don't care about the money.
I don't understand what you're afraid of then.
I care about the people here. This is not the
These
same
people
church.
here should be able to learn from the past. They should see you saying, look, this happened a long time ago and we did the wrong thing and we want to make sure we do it the right way. Watch us do it. Watch us do it.
I don't, all those things you talked about, I know about most of them. I don't know that we did the wrong thing.
I don't want to frustrate you any more than you currently are. You're absolutely right. Was it mishandled? 100%.
It destroyed my life. It ruined me. Do you understand that? It's not just mishandled.
Yes, I totally understand. I don't know, and I'm asking you to help help me. How do we make it right? I said I wanted to talk to you. I want to make it right. Was it mishandled by probably everybody? People, unfortunately, people are people, and they do stupid things. We make mistakes. How do...
They also do intentionally evil things. I almost killed myself in 2005 because of Lori Nargi.
And I thank God that you didn't. Sheilagh, I want to be the vessel for change.
When I came around wanting something from this place, I had a hope that you would save church for me. Prove to me that churches actually are capable of doing the right thing when it's the hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't. You didn't. And I thought for sure when I filed the lawsuit how clear what actually happened with the abuse was. If people just had more information, then maybe they would act better. But they didn't. And Murray goes in there the week after, and he preaches a sermon on the rich young ruler and how people who want money have a hard time getting into heaven. And then he preaches a 4-week sermon series on the church at Philadelphia and how God has nothing against you and you've done nothing wrong. And no one can close that door except God. Framing me as the attacker who wants to close the church. And if he didn't outright say that, he didn't clearly say that he wasn't talking about me either.
Did you see the sermon where he repeatedly said...
He said one time that Sheilagh is the victim, and then at the end he prayed for that young lady from 20 years ago, the pain of soul and mind for this community. He said that young lady, but then he started praying for the community. Yeah, I saw it. And I also, he said there was a young lady who was horribly abused here 20 years ago, when at the time it was only 15 years ago, but whatever. And then victims come when sin is left unattended, or we turn a blind eye, or whatever happens. And let me give you some more examples from the Bible. And the first freaking example he gives, you know what it was? Samson and freaking Delilah. But there is hope because, you know, there are examples of people in the Bible who didn't give in to this lust of the flesh. Think of, Joseph and Potiphar's wife. He said no. It cost him a couple years in jail, but he said no. And then he says that he doesn't have women in his office, which is not actually true, because of the history of this church. Don't put me in a compromising position. So, I mean, he called me a victim, and then everything he said after that framed the seductress as the real problem, because the men weren't paying attention to the fact that they're susceptible to the lust of the flesh. And I know that I'm just misconstruing. But I think it's fair for me to be affected by what's actually said. In a way that...
It makes sense.
Churches see this issue. The way the churches see this issue, the way that women are mostly treated or viewed, and the way that that affects the way that women are treated, especially in situations like mine. It's that theology, that understanding. It's all those filters that kept people from hearing me. I'm hearing people tell me, well, we didn't know. We didn't know.
Can I tell you one other thing I've realized all these years later? You are not the only one being groomed. He's grooming the entire congregation.
I know that.
And that's, I'm sorry if you don't like the sound of that.
I know that that's
We're all
true.
screwed up. We're all lied to.
But what I'm telling you is that, like, people, like, and I'm not throwing Mike Green under the bus. I don't think Mike Green is a bad person. Mike Green had the most access to information about Weaver's improprieties in the past. Mike Green didn't, I think it's fair to say that Mike Green didn't see them for what they were. But the reason that he didn't see them for what they were is not because something was hidden, it's because of the way Mike Green saw Jonathan Weaver. And he said that in his resignation letter. I never in a million years thought that Jonathan Weaver would do what he did. And it's because of that he was not able to see what was happening right in front of his eyes. And what I really want people to understand is why they did what they did. Not just sit here and say, well, we didn't know, and we didn't know how to handle it, and we didn't know what to do. Because that's fine and dandy, and I get it, that you didn't know. But you still did what you did, and you're going to do it again. If the opportunity arises because you don't understand why you did what you did. Do you understand that?
I don't know if I agree with you, but I understand what you're saying. A lot of years, and all of us, we've had time to think. It's been a lot of years, and we've had time to think through this and say, we don't want this to happen again. I don't think we are the same. Or I'm not the same person I was.
And I'm still getting treated like a threat. The reason I was treated by Narji and Buccio the way that I was treated in 05 is because they were afraid. And they consulted with the attorney, and apparently that's okay. They knew that they had access to money that could help me. I needed it then. I don't need it now. And I don't want it. But they wanted the story of the affair to be the one that prevailed. Because they knew that they knew crap beforehand and didn't do anything. And they were afraid of what was going to happen to them. And so I was a threat. I didn't know it then. And I was demonized. And I was run off.
Sure, when you first contacted me, I did speak to Rick Miller. And it drug up a lot of stuff for me. And I felt that, yeah. But the question laid to me is, what are you afraid of?
That's what I'm asking you now. Yeah.
And I had to think about it. And the next day I knew the answer and told him the answer. I'm afraid of unscrupulous attorneys.
You afraid of what?
Unscrupulous attorneys. That's all I was afraid of. There was no hidden thing in me. I've lived in the world for a lot of years, and I've read the newspaper, and I've watched things. And so that's where we're conditioned.
So why didn't you want to come to me before? The Bible says to go to your accuser while I'm on my way to court. I let you know I was on my way to court, but nobody came after me, and I tried to come after you.
What were you
Not you specifically, but you knew that the CBA lawsuit was coming, and you were a representative of the church, I think. But nobody came to talk to me. Well, the attorneys say we can't talk to her.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Huh?
I don't know how to respond to that.
Do you realize that your lack of action has had a very negative effect on me?
I can see you are hurt. There's no doubt about that.
Do you see? Do you know that adding Weaver to the lawsuit gave him the leverage he needed with the solicitor's office to not actually plead guilty.
I have no knowledge of that. To tell the truth, my assumption was you had. But I haven't talked to a lawyer about how that came.
Have you seen the paperwork?
I have not.
Your attorney asks you questions, right?
He does ask me questions.
And you answer them, right?
Yep.
You sued Jonathan Weaver.
Did we sue Jonathan Weaver?
You sued Jonathan Weaver.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
You sued Jonathan Weaver.
Where?
In November of 2020. No, yeah, 2020. November of 2020.
I have no idea.
You also denied having knowledge sufficient to form a belief as to the truth of whether or not Jonathan Weaver was ever employed here or had an office on the premises.
What are you talking about?
You blamed me for my abuse.
I don't know what you're talking about.
By claiming the doctrine of unclean hands.
That I remember hearing something about, but I do not know.
So in 2020, Board or Pastor Murray signed all this stuff, stated all this stuff, or answered the questions.
I don't know exactly how it works on their end. I have to sign off on everything. I had to read my complaint and verify its accuracy. Their attorney is not allowed by New York state law to operate on behalf of the insurance company. It is not allowed. It's against case law, and it's against
So why would that
rules.
be that Weaver didn't even serve here? It sounds immoral and
that. Well, and then we attested to that early on. We've turned over all the Weaver did serve here. That Weaver, did leave, and
then there's something broken, and that's what she's trying to fix with her and alerting everybody that things are broken and we're continuing to be
as soon as the church filed an answer to my lawsuit in September of 2020, I expected that you were probably going to deny everything, even though I felt like that was really super dishonest. From my perspective, it looked like you were just going to give it to the default to whatever the attorney tells you to do, even though I think that's unethical for you to use the attorney to lie. But when it came back and you were denying things that I know for a fact that you know, okay, you're going to deny my abuse because you weren't there, so you're going to say maybe it didn't happen. I was bracing myself for you to deny it. But when you blamed me for it, that was a whole other thing.
And that's something that I have to clarify, because from the beginning, from our first meeting with the lawyer, we said this happened. Okay? From the beginning. And I'll clarify it with the lawyer, but from the beginning, we said this happened. I personally was in the meeting with the lawyer, and I said this happened. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. But I will talk to the lawyer about it.
So you don't know at all that you sued Jonathan Weaver?
No.
Well, you did. And gave him the leverage he needed with the solicitor to not actually plead guilty in South Carolina. He was supposed to plead guilty, and at the last minute he changed it to offered because of the civil suit. So he maintained his innocence in his guilty plea, because Alfred pleas are stupid like that. And that messed me up too. What I wanted was for you to talk to me, to prove that when it's hard, you can do the right thing. When you might lose something. And I think that's been the biggest loss in this process. And I wanted you to hire Grace to do a third-party investigation so that the truth of what happened all the way through could be published. That's what I wanted. But nobody wanted to talk to me. I don't really think it's my job to come here, and I appreciate you offering to talk to me, but 2.5 years late, and all the damage that's happened in the last 2 years, on top of everything that's already happened. Whether you know about it or not, like, you had the power to decide what to do, and if he wasn't doing what you wanted him to do, you had the power to fire him. You had the power to say, hey, can we talk to her? Like, as soon as my lawsuit was filed, you could have reached out to my attorney and asked what I wanted. I think it's just stupid. It's really stupid that you're sitting here afraid of attorneys and afraid of losing money or closing your church when you haven't even talked to me. And I still don't have any idea what I did to other people because I haven't done anything to anybody. I'm tired of being lied about. And then I told what Narchi saw. And everybody thinks I'm a liar about that now. Like, you know, 5-0 was a liar about Weaver because nobody wanted to believe what he did. And now I'm a liar about Narchi. And I'm a liar now. Apparently I'm accusing Murray of being a child molester, which I'm freaking not doing. And he stands in there and he makes these jokes. He knows I watch his sermons. And I made it very clear that I don't know if he was joking like that before the lawsuit, but even if he was, it's really inappropriate. And he's not apologized to me.
What?
Huh?
For what?
For the way that he's upsetting me with this language. If he now knows that what he was doing was upsetting and inappropriate, and he should have been able to figure that out on his own. I mean, he said he's so smart he has to hold back when he preaches because he doesn't want to tell everybody how smart he is every week. But now he's going to say that he never made the connection between his lawsuit jokes and the lawsuit that he's currently involved in. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's insensitive at best. How do we fix it? I don't have any idea, Alex. Because I think that it would involve a lot of,
And Sheila, I don't think we can resolve this in one meeting. But you want to keep the conversation open, and so do I. And I think that's a start. Is it 2
I want
years?
Murray to stop lying about me. That's a good place
Is it
to
2
start.
years too late? Yeah, it's probably 10 years too late. But I want to start. It's the best I can do. I can't offer you anything more than that. But I want to start. You got a whole lot to think about. I got a whole lot to figure out what we did wrong. And we gotta fix it. Is it 10 years too late? Yes. And I truly am sorry for that. But let's keep this conversation going.
Okay. I know what that looks like.
I have a question. So documents were signed saying that Weaver wasn't here, correct? He never worked here. Weaver.
I have them all in the car if you want to see them.
No, I'm just asking. So one way to start is by clearing up any misinformation that is written.
Absolutely.
Is that another way of clearing
Absolutely.
this? And anything else that might be in the paperwork? If there's other...
Are you aware of a Jackson affidavit that you signed?
I'm not aware what a Jackson affidavit is.
Okay.
When you say you signed, do you mean Alex or the church? Just for my own.
The answer to the lawsuit was signed by the attorney on behalf of the church.
Got it. So it's signed by whoever, yeah.
My complaint was signed by my attorney on behalf of me. But in my experience, and this isn't an accusation, from my end, everything that my attorney has to file with the court, I have to review it first for accuracy. So, I'm really confused as to why you don't have to do the same thing.
I think the church would stand up to make sure everything's accurate, just like you do.
And if your your attorney is breaking the law, then I think maybe you need to say something about that.
That's what I want the facts to clarify.
Thank you for talking to me.
I don't want this to be one conversation. I'd like to continue talking to you. Is that fair?
Yes. It is. And I hope that there's still some way to redeem this mess. But I think that you need to realize that that's going to require more from you than it's going to require from me.
I don't deny that.
And some of it might be hard.
Okay.
Okay. I have no idea what you're thinking, but when you know what that looks like, let me know.
We'll find out.
I'm not a liar and I'm not hurting anybody.